Have you ever felt like a guest in your own life? As though the family you were born into speaks a language your heart never truly understood? Or have you wondered why some relationships feel like echoes from the past, as if they were meant to happen? These feelings are more common than you might think, and they could hold the key to something much deeper. Hi, and welcome back to Son.Mindfulness. I'm so glad you're here, and I invite you to stay with us until the end of this video. Today, we're diving into a topic that might challenge how you see your relationships, your family, and even your entire life journey. You see, many of us go through life not fully understanding why we are drawn to certain people or why we end up in specific situations. But what if I told you that everything, the people in your life, the struggles you face, even the love you seek, might be carefully chosen by your soul before you were even born? Is it possible that these relationships are not random, but part of a deeper spiritual design? In this video, we'll explore how our souls make deliberate choices before reincarnation. From choosing our families to selecting our romantic partners, these decisions are not mere accidents. They are intricately tied to our spiritual evolution, helping us grow and resolve past life karma. So, why does this matter to you? Because understanding the purpose behind these connections can help you find peace, acceptance, and even wisdom in the most challenging relationships. At Son.Mindfulness, we are committed to bringing you content that helps you understand life's deeper meaning, rooted in Buddhist teachings and mindfulness practices. We explore how to live more intentionally, grow spiritually, and transform suffering into enlightenment. If you find value in this perspective, I encourage you to support the channel by subscribing so you don't miss out on more insights like these. Now, let's dive into the heart of today's topic. How does your soul choose your family and romantic partners before you are born? Let's explore together, and you might discover something truly transformative. Part 2. The soul's purpose and evolution. In Buddhism, the soul's purpose is not to seek comfort, but to evolve spiritually. This journey through life is seen as an opportunity for growth, where one must face suffering and transcend illusions. We may ask ourselves, why do we face difficulties in life? The answer lies in the very nature of our existence. Life is not a random sequence of events. It is an intentional path that guides our soul toward enlightenment. Take the Buddha, for instance. Born as Siddhartha Gautama, he lived a life of luxury. Yet it was only through experiencing the suffering of sickness, aging, and death that he came to understand the true nature of life. His journey was not a pursuit of pleasure, but a search for the ultimate truth. His suffering led him to enlightenment. Can we see our own struggles as stepping stones toward growth, rather than obstacles to happiness? The soul does not shy away from challenges. In fact, it chooses them. Why would a soul choose suffering, you might ask? The truth is, the soul's growth is measured by its ability to overcome suffering and to free itself from the illusions that bind it to the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The soul evolves through challenges, each experience shaping it into something purer, wiser, and more compassionate. Consider the story of General Guan Yu, a figure in Chinese history known for his courage and wisdom. During his life, he faced betrayal, hardship, and immense personal loss. However, each challenge strengthened his resolve and sharpened his sense of justice. He didn't seek out these trials, but through them, he became a legendary figure. This mirrors how our soul grows. Through life's trials, we shed attachments and illusions, becoming more attuned to the truths of our existence. Buddhism teaches that every experience, every obstacle, is not a random event, but a step towards spiritual evolution. How do we evolve through challenges? The soul grows by learning from every experience, whether it's the joy of love, the sorrow of loss, or the trials of hardship. Each moment of suffering is an opportunity for the soul to confront its attachments and rise above them. To understand this better, let's look at the journey of a lotus flower. A lotus begins its life in the muddy depths of a pond. Despite the murky waters, it grows upward, reaching for the light. Eventually, the lotus blooms, revealing its pure beauty. In the same way, our soul begins its journey in the depths of ignorance and suffering. Through perseverance and self-awareness, it rises above these challenges, seeking the light of enlightenment. This brings us to a crucial point: the environment in which the soul chooses to incarnate. According to Buddhist teachings, the soul chooses the family, relationships, and circumstances it will encounter in this life. These choices are not random, but designed with the purpose of resolving karmic debts from past lives. Why would a soul choose its family? The answer lies in the need for spiritual growth. The family, relationships, and surroundings we are born into create the conditions necessary for the soul to face unresolved issues and heal past karma. Take the case of Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama. Born into a farming family, his early life was far from easy. Yet, it was precisely these conditions that shaped his compassion, wisdom, and understanding of human suffering. The Dalai Lama's family and environment were not random. They were a part of his soul's spiritual journey, guiding him toward his role as a spiritual leader. We too may find ourselves in situations that seem challenging or difficult, but these conditions are the very ones that offer us the chance to grow. The soul chooses the conditions that will help it evolve. These challenges are opportunities for us to transcend the illusions of self, to let go of ego, and to find true inner peace. Ultimately, the soul's purpose is not to live in comfort, but to evolve into a being of wisdom, compassion, and enlightenment. Through each challenge, the soul grows stronger and more enlightened. The family and environment it chooses are not obstacles, but stepping stones on its path toward spiritual freedom. Can we begin to see our struggles as part of a greater plan for spiritual evolution? By shifting our perspective, we begin to embrace the challenges of life, knowing that each one is an opportunity to move closer to enlightenment. As we explore the purpose of the soul and its journey, we begin to see the role of parents and the karmic inheritance that plays a significant part in this journey. The soul chooses specific families to continue its path of evolution, where these relationships form the very foundation for spiritual progress. Let's now delve deeper into the role of parents and karmic inheritance. Part 3. The role of parents and karmic inheritance. In Buddhist philosophy, the choice of parents is not coincidental. It is a spiritual decision made long before birth. Parents serve as the gateways through which the soul enters this world, offering a setting conducive to its spiritual growth. But have you ever wondered, why would a soul choose its parents? This choice is not based on comfort or preference, but on the lessons the soul needs to learn and the karmic debts it must resolve. The environment the soul is born into is not random. It is a carefully chosen setting for spiritual evolution. Take the example of Sakyamuni Buddha, who was born into a royal family. At first glance, his life seemed one of privilege and comfort. However, it was precisely this royal family, with all its material wealth and power, that set the stage for his spiritual awakening. He had to confront the illusion of worldly pleasures and power, realizing they could not bring true happiness. Through his experiences with his family and the world around him, he found the path to enlightenment. This illustrates how the soul chooses its family, not for ease, but to face what it must transcend to achieve spiritual growth. The soul chooses parents who will provide the necessary conditions to resolve its past life karma. Have you ever considered that your parents, despite their flaws or imperfections, may have been chosen by your soul to help you evolve? Each family brings with it its own emotional, psychological, and spiritual characteristics. These traits create an environment where the soul can confront unresolved karmic patterns and begin its journey toward healing and enlightenment. For instance, a soul may choose a family where there is a history of emotional unavailability, so that it can learn self-love and emotional independence. This might seem like a difficult circumstance, but in Buddhist philosophy, hardship is not a punishment, it is an opportunity for growth. Consider the story of King Ashoka, a powerful ruler who ruled with a harsh hand early in his reign. After witnessing the devastation of war, Ashoka underwent a profound transformation. His own family, with its history of cruelty and warfare, became the crucible in which his soul evolved. Through his painful experiences within his family and kingdom, he was able to find compassion and eventually embrace Buddhism. His story demonstrates how a soul can choose the exact family or environment needed to confront its past karma and evolve spiritually. But what about the pain we endure in our families? This is a question many may ask, especially those who have suffered neglect or abuse. In Buddhism, pain and suffering are not seen as punishments. Rather, they are viewed as opportunities for the soul to break free from the cycle of karma. For example, a soul born into a family with emotional neglect may experience deep sorrow and longing. But through this pain, the soul is learning the valuable lesson of self-love and emotional independence. This difficult process helps the soul to transcend its attachments and illusions, ultimately leading to spiritual liberation. What if the painful experiences in your family, no matter how harsh, are part of a larger plan for your soul's growth? By shifting our perspective, we can begin to see these experiences not as random or unfair, but as opportunities for transcendence. When we encounter hardships, whether they involve emotional neglect, criticism, or even abuse, we can begin to ask ourselves, what lesson is my soul trying to learn through this pain? It is this deeper understanding that allows us to rise above our suffering and gain wisdom. Consider this example. A child born into a family where emotional connection is scarce might struggle with feelings of loneliness. But as the child grows, they learn to find inner peace and strength, realizing that their worth is not dependent on the love of others. This inner stability is the lesson the soul came to learn. Though it may be painful, it is precisely through this challenge that the soul evolves. The soul's decision to be born into a specific family is therefore a carefully orchestrated act. It is not a random event, but a choice made by the soul to confront unresolved karma and gain wisdom. The family, with its flaws and challenges, provides the ideal environment for this spiritual journey. This is why, in Buddhism, we do not see suffering as something to avoid, but as a vital component of spiritual growth. So, what if we embrace the idea that our family and the challenges within it are part of our soul's design? This perspective allows us to view our family relationships not as burdens, but as the very foundation of our spiritual journey. Through the love, pain, and growth we experience in our families, we have the chance to resolve past karma and move closer to enlightenment. As we reflect on how the soul chooses its family and the karmic inheritance it carries, we begin to see the deeper purpose behind the relationships that shape our lives. But the story doesn't end with parents. Siblings, too, play a vital role in this journey. Let's now explore siblings as mirrors and spiritual allies, and how their presence in our lives can help us uncover deeper truths. Part 4. Siblings as mirrors and spiritual allies. In Buddhism, sibling relationships are seen as opportunities to reflect different aspects of ourselves. Siblings are not just family members, they are spiritual companions. They help each other confront and heal karmic wounds from past lives. Have you ever wondered, why do sibling relationships sometimes feel so intense, with both love and tension? The answer lies in the karmic connections between siblings. They often mirror our unresolved issues, helping us face and heal them. Take the example of Bodhidharma, who had a brother living a life of luxury while he chose the path of asceticism. Their paths were different, but they helped each other grow by embodying contrasting karmic lessons. This is a reminder that our sibling relationships, with all their contrasts, are designed for spiritual growth. The tensions between siblings aren't random, they're opportunities for both to evolve spiritually. Siblings often embody different aspects of the same karmic themes. For example, two siblings born into a family that suppresses emotional expression may respond in contrasting ways. One might become highly expressive, while the other shuts down emotionally. This contrast serves to highlight the karmic wound they both carry, allowing both to heal through their differences. Why do siblings trigger such strong reactions? It's because they reflect the unresolved parts of ourselves, mirroring the same unresolved karma. In these relationships, we are forced to confront our attachments and unhealed wounds. Consider the story of Tenzin and Jampa, two Tibetan siblings. Tenzin embraced spirituality, while Jampa sought material success. Though they were on different paths, their contrasting choices helped them balance karmic forces like attachment and detachment. This is an example of how sibling relationships can help resolve spiritual imbalances through karmic connections. Buddhism teaches that siblings are not only family, but karmic companions. Through these relationships, we heal and grow together. Siblings may not always be the source of harmony. Sometimes they bring conflict. But in this conflict lies the potential for deep spiritual growth. Through our interactions, we learn forgiveness, patience, and the release of attachments. In some cases, a sibling might be born into our lives to challenge us in specific ways. For instance, in one life, a sibling may have been a betrayer, and in the next life, they may come back as the younger sibling in need of care and love. This reversal of roles offers a profound opportunity to heal and forgive, breaking the cycle of past karma. These dynamics are not random. They are a part of a spiritual design to foster growth and balance. Even if we feel distant from a sibling, there is often a karmic lesson embedded in that relationship. Whether we are close or estranged, sibling bonds are spiritual invitations. They are not about comfort. They are about healing and awakening. Sometimes siblings may act as mirrors, reflecting back to us the very aspects of ourselves that need to be addressed. Think about birth order. The soul may choose to be born as the eldest, middle, or youngest child for specific karmic reasons. The eldest may need to learn responsibility, while the middle child explores feelings of being overlooked. The youngest may embody freedom or rebellion. Even twins, with their mirrored energies, have distinct karmic roles to play. Ultimately, sibling relationships are about spiritual evolution. Through them, we confront unresolved karma, learn and grow. They are mirrors, revealing to us the areas we need to heal. And when we understand this, we begin to see our siblings not as obstacles, but as teachers on our path. As we reflect on the karmic role of siblings in our spiritual journey, we can see that these relationships are part of a greater plan. But just as we grow through family, we also experience profound lessons with romantic partners. Let's now explore romantic partners and soul connections and how these relationships shape our spiritual path. Part 5. Romantic partners and soul connections. In Buddhism, romantic relationships are often seen as predestined, not based on coincidence or random attraction. Have you ever wondered, why do we sometimes feel an inexplicable connection with someone, as if we've known them for lifetimes? It's because, according to Buddhist teachings, romantic partners are chosen before birth to fulfill spiritual contracts and resolve karmic lessons. The relationships we form are not accidents. They are deeply intertwined with the soul's evolution. These connections serve as vehicles for growth, helping us confront unresolved issues from past lives. Take the example of Princess Yasodhara, the wife of Siddhartha Gautama, who would later become the Buddha. Despite the love they shared, Yasodhara's relationship with Siddhartha was filled with challenges. She had to endure the pain of his departure as he sought enlightenment. But this was not mere happenstance. In the grand spiritual design, their union allowed both to evolve. Siddhartha's path toward enlightenment required detachment, while Yasodhara's role was to remain grounded in the material world, helping her develop deep compassion and understanding. Their relationship exemplifies how romantic connections can be preordained to facilitate spiritual growth and resolution of past life karma. What if your romantic partner is not just a companion, but a teacher in disguise? In Buddhism, twin flames and soulmates are spiritual concepts that explain these profound connections. Twin flames are believed to be two halves of one soul, separated across lifetimes. When twin flames reunite, the experience is often intense, transformative, and filled with challenges. Why? Because the soul must undergo a powerful process of healing and integration, which can only happen through this reunion. Their bond is meant to catalyze growth, forcing both individuals to confront their deepest fears, insecurities, and unresolved karma. It is not always a peaceful connection, but it is always deeply transformative. Soulmates, on the other hand, are those with whom we have shared multiple lifetimes, supporting each other's spiritual growth. Unlike twin flames, soulmates don't necessarily complete us, but rather they walk with us on our spiritual path. They may come in the form of romantic partners, friends, or even mentors. Soulmates help us evolve by providing love, support, and wisdom. Think of the bond between Empress Wu Zetian and her advisor, the monk Xuanzang. Though their relationship was not romantic, they were soulmates, guiding each other through profound spiritual journeys. Their connection, though not without its challenges, helped both grow spiritually. In romantic relationships, soulmates can also guide us toward wisdom, compassion, and enlightenment. However, not all romantic relationships are soulmates or twin flames. Many romantic relationships are karmic. These relationships are designed to help both individuals resolve unresolved issues from past lives. Karmic relationships are often filled with painful lessons and unresolved wounds, but they are crucial for the soul's evolution. Why do we encounter painful relationships? These connections are often meant to help us confront our deepest fears and attachments. A karmic relationship may bring up issues such as abandonment, power struggles, or unhealed trauma. Through these painful experiences, we learn valuable lessons about love, compassion, forgiveness, and self-awareness. For example, imagine a soul that carries the wound of abandonment from a past life. In this life, they may meet a romantic partner who mirrors that wound, someone who is emotionally unavailable or distant. This relationship may trigger intense pain, but it also offers the opportunity for healing. Through this karmic connection, the soul learns to love itself, to find peace within, and to release the fear of abandonment. This is how karmic relationships work. They force us to face our unresolved issues and provide the opportunity to heal. The relationship with a karmic partner is not meant to be easy. It is meant to challenge us, to help us grow, and to encourage us to evolve spiritually. Have you ever noticed that your most challenging relationships seem to reflect parts of yourself that need healing? These connections are not here to punish us, but to help us transcend our attachments and limitations. Once we recognize the karmic nature of these relationships, we can approach them with a deeper understanding and compassion. In Buddhism, love is not just about romantic fulfillment, it is about spiritual evolution. Each romantic partner we encounter plays a crucial role in our spiritual journey, helping us confront our karmic wounds, our attachments, and our illusions. Even though the process may be painful at times, it is through these connections that we are given the opportunity to evolve, to awaken, and to realize the true nature of love. As we explore the deep connections formed with romantic partners, we begin to realize that love is not always easy. Romantic relationships are often filled with challenges and karmic lessons that help us grow spiritually. But what happens when relationships become truly difficult? Let's now move on to explore why relationships are not always easy and how we can navigate these challenges on our spiritual path. Part 6. Relationships are not always easy. Relationships, especially those that are most challenging, are not random events. In Buddhist philosophy, these relationships are seen as spiritual opportunities. Have you ever wondered, why do we face such pain in relationships, especially with those we love the most? The answer lies in the fact that the soul does not choose ease. Instead, it seeks experiences that allow it to transcend suffering and achieve enlightenment. These relationships are designed to stretch and challenge the soul, not to bring comfort. Through these challenges, the soul is offered a unique opportunity to evolve and grow spiritually. Consider the example of General Zhang Fei, a military leader in ancient China. He was known for his fierce loyalty and bravery, but also for his temper and emotional turmoil. Despite his strength, his relationships were often strained, filled with conflicts and struggles. Yet, it was through these very challenges that he became a respected leader. His personal struggles mirrored the internal battles that many of us face in our relationships. These struggles were not obstacles, but stepping stones to spiritual growth. For Zhang Fei, the very relationships that caused him pain helped him develop wisdom, resilience, and compassion. This story reminds us that even the most difficult relationships are opportunities for growth. In Buddhism, the soul is not concerned with ease or comfort. It is concerned with evolution. The soul deliberately chooses relationships that challenge it, pushing it to face its deepest fears and unresolved karma. But why does the soul choose relationships that cause pain? The pain is not the goal. The goal is transcendence, the ability to rise above the suffering, to let go of attachments, and to evolve toward enlightenment. Painful relationships force us to confront our vulnerabilities and weaknesses, leading us to deeper self-awareness. Through these relationships, we are asked to cultivate love, compassion, forgiveness, and inner peace. Some souls choose to be born into difficult family dynamics to break generational cycles. Have you ever noticed patterns that repeat in your family? Addiction, abuse, or silence? These cycles are not random. In Buddhism, the soul chooses to break these patterns, to liberate itself and the entire family lineage. By healing these wounds, the soul becomes a liberator, bringing healing not only to itself but to future generations as well. Imagine a soul born into a family where addiction runs through the generations. This soul might experience the pain and struggle of addiction, but its purpose is to break the cycle. Through overcoming this struggle, the soul brings healing to future generations. In doing so, it transcends the karmic patterns that have held its family captive for so long. This is the power of generational healing in Buddhism. The soul, by choosing a difficult family, becomes the catalyst for breaking the chains of the past and creating a new future. Let's take an example from history. Mahatma Gandhi. Born into a family steeped in colonial oppression and suffering, Gandhi could have chosen a life of bitterness and resentment. However, he chose a different path, one of nonviolence, compassion, and forgiveness. In doing so, he not only liberated himself, but became the driving force for India's independence from British rule. Gandhi's personal journey is a perfect example of how a soul can choose to break the cycles of oppression, hate, and violence, both personally and generationally. His ability to forgive, his inner peace, and his compassion were all developed through the very struggles he faced. Is it possible that your own struggles are part of a greater plan to heal your lineage? Perhaps your soul has chosen these challenges to break free from generational trauma and bring healing to your ancestors. By shifting our perspective, we begin to see our difficulties as opportunities for transformation, not just for ourselves, but for those who came before us. In Buddhism, the soul understands that growth often requires suffering. The soul chooses relationships, families, and circumstances that provide the necessary conditions for spiritual development. And sometimes, those conditions involve pain. However, the pain is never the end goal. It is a tool, one that helps us break free from attachments, heal past wounds, and reach a higher state of consciousness. As we reflect on the painful relationships and the cycles we need to break, we realize that these experiences are not punishments. They are invitations to transcend. The soul chooses them for growth, healing, and liberation. But what happens when we face the deepest wounds of all, our own egos and attachments? Let's now move to the conclusion, where we will explore how understanding the deeper purpose of our relationships can guide us toward peace and enlightenment. Conclusion. As we reflect on the journey we have explored together, it becomes clear that our family, partners, and relationships are not random. They are not mere accidents of life. Instead, they are carefully chosen by our soul before birth, with a deep purpose. Each relationship, whether joyous or painful, is a doorway for our spiritual growth. The soul selects these connections, not for comfort, but for evolution. These are the opportunities that help us transcend past karma and evolve toward enlightenment. We've seen how, through difficult family dynamics, the soul chooses to heal generational wounds. Siblings act as mirrors, reflecting our unresolved issues, pushing us to grow. Romantic partners are often chosen to fulfill karmic contracts and teach us the deepest lessons in love, compassion, and forgiveness. These connections are the soul's curriculum for growth. They are not meant to be easy, but they are necessary for spiritual advancement. Have you ever wondered why some relationships are so challenging? Perhaps, as we've discussed, they are not meant to be obstacles, but catalysts for your spiritual evolution. When we approach life with this perspective, we begin to see every challenge as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to transform. By understanding that each relationship is a stepping stone toward enlightenment, we can begin to live with greater peace and acceptance. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to you, dear reader, for joining me on this journey. You have taken the first step toward understanding the deeper purpose behind the relationships in your life. I encourage you to reflect on the lessons shared today and actively incorporate them into your daily life. May these teachings guide you as you navigate your relationships and continue to grow spiritually. If this content has resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to Son.Mindfulness for more insights. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, as I would love to hear your reflections. Thank you for your time and support. Wishing you peace, health, happiness, and continued blessings on your journey. May you always walk the path of mindfulness, and may your heart remain open to the transformative power of love and understanding. Thank you.